never believe in quitting. I don't think you should ever quit.
Harvey Heggs, entrepreneur, content creator.
You have 24 hours in a day, sit there from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. You take a risk because you get a bit of backlash and it might fail. But that's the whole point of being an entrepreneur and trying to become successful at it. Yeah. Stop watching videos of people saying they've made it when they haven't. Listen to people that are going to tell you how it really is. 3 months into my journey, I'm in Las Vegas with Stephan around his house. They're doing a podcast and I'm the one changing the cameras. And I'm like, looking there like, what, how have I got here? It comes with so much shit and hardship and stress. When I say I felt like a boss, I felt like a proper boss. Like Iman Gadzhi's like, knows who I am, hugging me. And everyone's then looking at me like I'm someone special. You do loads and you still don't think you're doing enough. Just don't quit on your goal that you've set.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the CEO Journey podcast, where we talk about all things business and entrepreneurship. Today, I'm joined by an entrepreneur, content creator, and a man on an absolute mission, Harvey Heggs. Harvey, welcome to the podcast, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I've seen your stuff and it's good. It's good. I like it.
Cheers, my friend. Cheers. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on, by the way. I really appreciate it. And I guess to get straight into it. So for viewers who potentially don't know about you, don't know what you're about, how old you are, whatever it is, how would you describe yourself to them?
Very deep question to start off. So I'd say, I'm 19, I've just turned 19. I would say when people call me an entrepreneur, it's one of them things where if you ask entrepreneurs that are successful, they would say people that just have ideas and go off the ideas. Sometimes they're a bit touchy on the old entrepreneurship subject, because to class yourself as an entrepreneur, it has just a bigger, deeper and more meaning than just saying, oh, I'm an entrepreneur because I have an idea and I just started something. So I would say I'm an entrepreneur, but in the making. I just think you can call yourself that, but the entrepreneur has a legacy, you know what I mean? Like people, there's some very successful, very, very successful people, and there's some that get into it and then quit. So are they an entrepreneur? Probably not.
No.
So I'd say I'm an entrepreneur in progress. I'm always trying things. I think especially our age, you have to try many things, fail a lot. I've failed a lot at things. And yeah, I'm honest and I'm just on a journey, and I hope I can bring people along and inspire them and keep it legit the whole way.
100%, man. So you're in the building phase at the moment. You're at that stage where I'm at, which is you're building, trying to make something successful. How's that phase going for you? How are things whilst in that phase? How do you stay motivated, I guess? Yeah,
so the thing is you've got a difference between motivation and discipline. So when you start, I started at 16 and it's you're either in or you're out. And when you're trying to become successful, when you're trying to compete with whoever's in your industry, you're competing with the top guys who have 40, 50, 100, 200 employees and unlimited money and experience and mind strength. And you're a man on your own or a woman on your own. And you've got to try and compete with them. And the only way you can do that is you physically can't, match them because you don't have the resources. But what you can do is outwork them in terms of you have 24 hours in a day, sit there from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. And yes, it's easier said than done. And everyone has breaks. I have breaks every day because you would just burn out. But it's about putting the work in. Are you committed, or is it just something that you've watched a few TikToks or you've seen the life you can live? Because that's what you can't do it for Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and you have to have a deeper purpose of why you want to do it. Because when you'll have to swear.
Of course, mate. Say what you want.
When shit hits the fan, that Lamborghini isn't going to keep you going. So you can't be motivated in this game. It's discipline and when you feel like doing it and when you don't feel like doing it, you have to have the same mindset of every day, what do I need to get done today? And I have a list on my phone. It's today's tasks and it's 5 and 10 things. And no matter how I'm feeling, whether I'm feeling sad, happy, because no one's happy all the time and no one's sad all the time. But it doesn't matter. You've got to just get that done. And when you're done, go and relax. Go and play with your mates and do what you want to do. But to get that done, and doesn't matter how you feel. And that's the same when you win. So when you have big wins and you make a bit of money, or you get you meet someone successful or whatever it may be, you can't celebrate that. You can like look back and reflect on what you've done, but it's the next thing. And then same for when you have big losses. You can't get caught up in all the bullshit. You've just got to keep your vision and stick to it. And something will come from it. But like I say, you've got to realize it's a 5-10 year period. And yes, Definitely. People blow up overnight, but the people that blow up overnight, they lose it as quick as they got it. So, and I believe so strongly in its timing, and like everything happens for a reason. So if I was meant to be a millionaire at 20, I've learned the things in that time so that I can maintain it and grow. Because if I became a millionaire, luckily at 17, I know I'd have blasted it everywhere and bought Lamborghinis for everyone. So it's one of them. But trust me, in the building phase, back to the original question, it comes with so much shit and hardship and stress. You're a one-man team taking shit every single day, and your head just feel like it wants to pop. You feel sad, you worry, you do loads and you still don't think you're doing enough, and you feel there's 10% of you that every day is now the time to give up, but your end goal is there, and giving up when you start just isn't an option.
No, definitely. There's two things there that I really resonate with myself. Which was about failure. And I personally think, and I'm sure you agree, when you're trying out all these things and you're failing, you learn the most from that. And that's when you take the most knowledge, you gain the experience, and then it puts you in a better position when you move on to that next thing. And number two is outworking. Especially when you're our age, you've obviously got a bit of a disadvantage in a sense. And if you outwork everybody, you then put yourself in a position where luck almost comes to you and you start getting those opportunities.
You've got to turn your disadvantage into an advantage, because we're at an age where we don't have mortgages, we don't have kids. I don't think you should be in relationships at our age. I think all these different things, you've got to always see your negatives into positives. Like, you're fit, healthy, everything works, your family's okay, you can even just little things taken for granted, like seeing and walking and being able to use your hands. And there's people out there that are in such bad conditions that you're halfway there anyway, and people don't take that for granted. So yes, people have incredible teams and people around them, but we're at an age where we've got our most energy, we're in the times where we can grow. Like, if you asked a 50-year-old, they couldn't go off 3 hours sleep, or we could go off 3 hours sleep and work ourselves into the ground, have an hour's rest to be back on it. So that's what I mean about taking our disadvantages and looking at them as a positive.
Turning them into advantages, completely agree. I want to know where that not inner motivation, but inner desire and the mentality that you have really stem from. So if you could take us back, Harvey, to sort of your earlier years. Obviously you're very young now, but I want to go further back than that and really understand what it was like for you, man.
I would say I was a typical entrepreneur, but when people say that, I just find it boring and click off. So I wouldn't say I was a candy seller kid at school. That was more of a confidence thing. If I had the confidence as a kid, I'd definitely done it. Quick story, which is quite funny. I used to have this bench in the garden, and me and my friend who lived across the road, we used to put the bench on the front of the street and go in the fridge. And I think we used to sell yogurts, football cards, and just little crap we could find around the house. And we used to sell it on the street, and it'd be our next door neighbours that we know would pay £1 for a yogurt. And at the end of the day, we'd have loads of 2p's and would split it and go shop. But I've always tried things, and I'm an obsessive person. Yeah. I see something and I go all in on it, which has been a negative, but also it's an incredible positive.
Massive positive, man.
Yeah. Massive. I've always been told there's thinkers and doers. Everyone thinks of ideas, but it's the doers that eventually win. And obviously we're young, so we're drawn to the shiny object, and it's here, there, and everywhere. But as long as that doesn't ever get taken out of you, I tried in lockdown. I think I ordered loads of cream stuff to make cream, and I printed off a letter, and it said like, "Would you be interested in buying this cream?" And a yes, and then please post it back to my address. And I posted it all around the street, and I don't even think I got one back. But it was just the doing it and trying it, and then after 2 weeks, it was the next thing and the next thing. But I've always been like growing up, like the class clown, the kid that I was. I don't like the word popular, but in that group, but I've always like my dad's from a council estate. My mum's had nothing and created a few businesses. So I've seen what it's like to go through hardship, but then I've also seen what you can achieve. And growing up, I've had a better life than, not in a show off way, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I've had incredible hardships. I've had an incredible life of what my parents could give me with their circumstances. We would go on a holiday to stay in a 3-star hotel in Spain.
Yeah. And
my dad would go and take me to a 5-star hotel or a beach club or where rich people would stay. And we would have like a glass of lemonade. But I would see and he would always say to me, if you work hard, this is what you can have.
Yeah.
Whereas instead of being just normalized to 3-star hotels or even going away in England because we couldn't afford to go abroad, it would always be, okay, where's the money at and where's the rich places? And now you see if you work hard, this is what you can have.
Definitely.
And at the time, seeing it, I was always like, yeah, this would be well cool. But I never even thought about, okay, how am I going to get it? And then just long story short, at 16, I always bought clothes. I had £100 left in my bank and I was going to buy a Lacoste bag. And I was ended up thinking like, there's got to be more that you can do with your money than just buy clothes. Ended up going on YouTube, typical Graham Stephan video. And I was like, something just clicked for me. And then it's on from there.
Do you believe in manifestation?
See me, I'm a big overthinker. It's my best strength and it's my worst negative. So I will, in the moment, I'm quite full on, like I'm confident and I'll talk. And then I'll go home and I'll sit and I'll overanalyze that chat and come up with conclusions. And it's a great strength, but also sometimes it makes you worry and stuff like that. So I always dream and believe listen, you have to have an end goal and imagine what life could be like. But if you do that and you live off that, then you're always the negative's always going to creep in and if that happens, what about if this happens? And then I'll be screwed there and here. And it's like, one thing I've learned a lot recently is just live in the moment. Just take it day by day. And you have to have a goal that you can control. So my goal was always like 10 million subscribers, be the biggest business YouTuber, but I can't control that because I'm relying on you to hit subscribe. And that's down to you. What I can control is post a video every week without missing an upload and make sure it gets 1% better. And that's the difference to asking for someone. And it's just little.
So true.
And listen, I dream every day of retiring my family and looking after people and creating charities and giving people, because I think, sorry to dive off, but I think as true entrepreneurs, someone who's a creative and always strives for more, you don't really get excited about a lot. You're always looking for the next thing and you kind of relive happiness through other people. So you take them to amazing places and see their reaction, which makes you happy rather than you going, because that's just who I am. And I remember I spent a year trying to hit 1,000 subscribers every day, just obsessing over it. And then the day I hit it, I've never felt so sad. And like, I remember hitting it and I looked at it and I was like, I want more. And it's not like an agreed way, but that's just, I think certain types of people would understand that.
I mean, there's people who have it and there's people who don't have it.
Yeah, 100%. I said the exact same thing today. You either have it or you don't. You can't be you're born with it. It's not something you can be installed in you. You literally either have it or don't.
Definitely. So let's say, Harvey, I ask, I don't know, like your friends, your school friends, who you're at school with, your teachers, who was Harvey Heggs at that point in time? What would they say?
Probably a bit of a dickhead. Listen, my morals that have been installed in me as a kid has been incredible. I've been brought up amazing, and I've always tried to like show off because I wanted to be like accepted almost, like, and I'd always make people laugh. But at school, I would never be horrible to a person. Like, it'd always just be like, oh, I didn't care, or with school, and that's why teachers might say that. But I've deep down, I'm all about giving and helping people. But the thing with business is it's a dog eat dog world, and if you show weakness or anything, you just get run over. So people, if you're in my circle, I like to think people say nice things about me, because I do anything for the people. I think as an entrepreneur as well, you become a bit of like an alpha male, and that's, again, you're born with it. You either have it or you don't. You want to protect your people, and that's one thing I hold myself to.
Definitely.
And I'd like to say they say that. I like having a laugh. But yeah, I think they'd say I'm hardworking, and I'd like to say they look up to me a little bit.
That's incredible. So, like, I want to understand now, like, when was the first bit of like hustle money you made, in a sense? Like proper, like, as in you've been trying these things out, yeah, and you found something that's clicked.
I mean, when I started out affiliate marketing. I think I made about 10 quid. But it was the first time that I actually made money like that.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, going back to you either have it or you don't, I didn't sit and go, oh, I can relax now. It was like, yes, I made 10 quid. Okay, I want more. But that's the first bit of money I made. But for like a whole year, even longer, when I was finishing college last year to start of even 6 months into finish college, I didn't get a job. I sat in my room and I worked. Didn't go out and act like I had money, or didn't go out flashing I had money when I didn't. It was, you don't have money, you work until you have a bit, and then you enjoy yourself a little bit. But even then, be smart. But people will say they want to be entrepreneur and successful, but then go out and spend their money. Like, you either want it or you don't. And for a year and a half, I didn't make anything. And then I get my first £500 month on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then it goes back down again to £50. And then, so your life as an entrepreneur is always changing, and that's
up and down.
Yeah. But to the original question, I'd probably say it was about a month in with affiliate marketing. But again, these aren't consistent incomes.
Definitely. And with the channel that you've got, so you've got Harvey Heggs YouTube channel, and you're posting content that's about business, finance, investing, how you can start businesses that are scalable. What was the drive to do that? And how has content and producing content really allowed you to set yourself apart from other people?
Yeah, so the reason I do that is because I see a lot of people my age, and everyone wants to be successful and everyone wants to live the life, but 99% of people just want to party and stuff, and they get bullied down into university or what their parents say, and I just thought that, again, stepping into wanting to be like a leader role and show people there's a different way. Obviously, a big factor was the Graham Stephan. Everyone sees Graham Stephan's AdSense and woof, it inspires you, but
definitely.
you quickly realize, like, I'm not going to it, that it's not gonna, when the times get tough, what you're gonna rely on is Graham Stephan makes a few quid. Like, it didn't work like that. You do it. And then that's why I've always shifted. I've always gone with personal finance topics, but who's going to listen to a 17-year-old lad when Graham Stephan's successful, knows what he's on about? and I'm there with not really much life experience, an understanding of it, but not much life experience. So again, who are you going to pick to watch? Obviously Graham Stephan. So it's one of them. And so now I've shifted more into making like money challenges. So I'd rather lose my money than the viewers lose theirs, but make it funny to watch and do it that way. I've got some incredible ideas, but with YouTube, it's helped me gain confidence as well. It's like looking someone in the eyes when you're chatting to them. When I first started out, I couldn't look at the camera. I'm like looking away down. And you pull my first video up, and now I could sit and chat to someone all day and take control of the situation. It's just gave me incredible confidence. But again, it's trying to inspire people.
Yeah, definitely. And like, in fact, I would even say that it's worse speaking and posting that on YouTube, because anyone can see that, and that content is going to be there forever unless you delete it. And you don't know how many views it's going to get. You don't know if it's going to pop off or what. So yeah, I would say it's probably even worse, my friend. And like, in terms of you taking inspiration from Graham Stephan, and so you obviously took inspiration from him. But would you say you've realized that in order to succeed, you have to do something different to what other people are doing than just follow a simple, or not a simple formula, but a formula or a framework that someone else is utilizing to achieve success for them?
It's 100% on that question. You can't, the next Graham Stephan isn't going to be doing what Graham Stephan does. Same Mr. Beast says it all the time. The next Mr. Beast isn't going to be copying Mr. Beast. So you have to be different in everything you do. And people say, oh, everyone's done everything, but that's just a cop out. Like, people are always innovating, and then there'll be someone that blows up and do something insane, and they're like, whoa, but that they're lucky. No, they spent time and analyze stuff and see what works, what doesn't work. Can they mix something that he does and she does and make what they do, and then they run with it. And yes, because it's everything. Control this, you can control the world. Everything's about your mind. So if I see, let's say I want to start a podcast and I see what you're doing and it's working and you're growing, and I'm like, right, so this works, so I'm going to do it because I know it works. But the whole part of achieving something is no one's done it. So it's a shot in the dark. It could fail miserably, which you learn a lot from, or it could just take off. And that's the whole part of innovating and being successful, is doing something no one does and seeing that who knows if it's going to work because no one's done it. But that's what innovating essentially is.
Definitely. And like, in terms of, sorry to take it back to the content part, but like, obviously, I think you're at like 6,000 subscribers on YouTube at the moment.
I think I'm about 20 away from 7 now.
20 away from 7, which is pretty incredible at 19 years old. Like, it's a great achievement. And, just because people out there have got, 1 million subscribers, you can do well with a small subscriber base if they're loyal and engaged. What would you say separates a good video from a bad video?
The thing with YouTube, and especially gaining views, is once you get the formula right, no, scrap that. The best thing you can do is the idea. If you have an incredible idea, your video has 99% chance of going viral, making you sales, whatever your goal is with that video. Is have an incredible idea. Then it's how you can package it in an interesting way. Because someone made this example, I can't remember their name, but it was like on the American talk shows. And there's about 6 or 7 American talk shows where they get the famous guests on. And it's just, they come on, they have a chat and they go off, and everyone's the same. And James Corden he has like different shows for different nights and different funny, different things that happen in the show, and you never know what's coming next. And so you're interested in, and you don't know what's coming next. And that's the same thing with his videos. You have to understand like hooks and keeping people engaged and interact. But the bottom line is, if you have an incredible idea and there's an outcome that people want to see at the end of the video, you will get views. But it's easier said than done. Please believe me on that. What
do you mean by the idea? So is that like the premise behind the video essentially?
Yeah. So what is the video about? Like, if you just made the top 5 best side hustles, well, what are you watching for? You've always got to ask the question, like, who is my ideal viewer and why would they watch this and what do they want to take out from it? If you have an incredible idea that's like, I don't know, again, it's not something you can think off the top of your head because these are ideas that are going to change your life. But you can think of a good idea that makes people want to see what happens, then you're onto something. Whereas if you just created something that's, everyone's doing, again, it all goes back to an incredible idea is something no one's done before.
Definitely. And when you're coming up with these ideas, you do obviously look at other videos that are doing well, what's performing at the moment, what are these YouTubers doing well that I can take note from? Is that what you look at when you're coming up with these ideas, or are you just thinking them off your head and, almost innovating with them?
I tend to not really look at what other people are doing. I don't think there's anyone out there that I really want to be like in terms of videos. Yeah, I want to stay. I don't really. Yeah, I see. Listen, you have to take inspiration from people. I'll go and check channels, but I watch YouTube anyway. I'm a viewer to people, and it always sparks something in my mind because again, people. Are you a creative person? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. And if you are, you could look at a plant and get an idea.
Yeah.
You could look at a sofa, you could look at a tree and you'll just think, come up with something from that. And you have to put yourself in places where you can think. So for me, I like going for walks, I like playing golf, playing football. Clear your mind. If you sit at your laptop all day, you just get nothing flows and nothing inspires you. And talking to people, like go out and chat to people and say, are you interested in making money? Do you like business? Or if you could, what would be the ideal video for you? And what would you click on?
Yeah.
Find out what people want to watch because people always chase like views as if they're just numbers. These are people behind the screen. Like go and ask them.
There's too many people behind the screen nowadays. I think the best thing, and actually the last episode, so the episode that's come out today, obviously, it's different when this episode will be coming out, but it was with a guy called Jason McElcar, and he's built a really strong 6-figure SaaS. And he said like one of the ways that he was attaining clients for that was just simply by going into the business itself and pitching them on his service. And that's completely overlooked nowadays because everyone thinks let's send an Instagram DM, Facebook message, all that sort of stuff. But there's nothing better than going in somewhere and having that one-on-one interaction with someone.
Let me ask you this question. You're a business owner and you need some work doing. Who would you rather go with? The guy who's got 10% more experience that just sends you a cold DM? Or the guy that shows up at your door, barges through security, knocks on your office, says, let me work for you for free. And I'll bet you any money that I can do it better than the guy that can do it 10% better. You, as a person that's an entrepreneur or something, you're going to think and look at you and go, I respect that.
Yeah, 100%, mate. That second person, different mindset.
And that's what it comes down to. It's standing out. Like this day and age, you've got to do something crazy to catch someone's attention. You can't just send them a DM or ask or hope that they're going to see it. But you've got to do something out there. And by doing that, you take a risk because you get a bit of backlash and it might fail. But that's the whole point of being an entrepreneur and trying to become successful at it. Definitely. And now, obviously, you've said that, to take it back a bit, you said that, 1 month whilst you were doing the channel that you earned £500, was it, from it, which is a decent amount of money. Why do you think that month was the best month? What were you doing in that month that allowed you to earn that money from YouTube? I made one of my videos got 500,000 views.
Christ, which one was that?
I posted a video about weekly wines and it was reselling Prime outside. And I actually took that video down because you ended up getting the wrong audience for a video. Like, you remember, you got 500,000 people thinking that you're going to create content like this every week now. So all my videos that were then changed. The reason I made that video was to like the hustle culture, make a few quid and give it away. And that was the point of the video, with a cool idea. But then all my videos kept getting recommended to people that like KSI and Logan Paul and Prime. And then my other videos were just tanking, even though they were good and I was putting time into it. Because that video was still getting views, it just was ruining the channel. So you either sit there and again, you act like you've made it because you got a video with 500,000 views, or you get rid of it. Yes, it's hard to take, but you move on to the next thing. And that's what I did. And now it's recovering again. And that's the whole point of, again, entrepreneurship and changing and failing, because that to some people, that's a huge success. But to me, that's an incredible fail.
Yeah, no, I get you. So you removed the video, which had 500K views then. But was that generating you? I'm guessing that was generating you a lot of subscribers.
Yeah, that really helped with the subscriber count. But again, you get to a point where you just detach yourself from the subscriber count and the money you make from it, because all the money I made from that month, I remember I was traveling to London a few times to film videos. So the money you make isn't, you've got, as a business owner, you got to see it as a business. You can't go and spend that on a tracksuit or a night out, because you're going back to square one. Then I just reinvest the profits and then go again from tomorrow.
100%. And I guess, on that and on money and business and that sort of stuff, you obviously had a social media management agency, and although you're not running it now, you did pretty well with it, to be honest. Like you said, some of the figures, I watched a video on it and it's pretty incredible. So talk to me a bit about, your experience running that agency. Why did you get into the agency space? And how well were you able to do from it personally?
Yeah, so it's one of them things where it just happened naturally. So I went through a period where I was interviewing business owners on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they just wanted their social media doing. And obviously, I class myself as someone who knows what I'm doing. And I did people's social medias, learned from some incredible people. But it was a business model where people used me for me. So it was, they didn't do it because the agency had a good name, or it was for me. So it was one of them where you kind of hit a ceiling already, unless you change the whole business model. But then again, that's not what I was good at. So it was either, this is a big twist in my mindset, is before that I hadn't earned a lot of money, and then you go to earning money. And then you quickly realize, am I doing it for money, or am I doing it for a deeper goal and a deeper meaning? And that quickly made me realize I don't do this for money. And was it worth the hassle and chasing around all the time when my own things and my own goals were getting pushed back?
Yeah.
So do you want to make money? Of course, yeah. But it's not just, the question can be broken down into different segments. And do you want to make money which has a ceiling? It's like being an employee. Or do you want to work on your own things that, yes, I'm going to pay you money now, but we'll 100x that in 3 or 4 years' time? That's the question you got to ask yourself. No one asks themselves questions. They just go with the flow and see where it ends up taking them, and they always end up failing. So you've always got to sit and analyze which path are you going. And I don't mean analyze and don't take action. I mean analyze, quickly, go, because the best people make the biggest decisions in seconds. Definitely. And like, in terms of you getting clients, and so you got clients by speaking to business owners, and they thought, oh, this is a pretty interesting guy. Let's take a chance. Was that the crack with it? Yeah. So you have to understand sales, and sales will be people will tell you different approaches with sales, but the bottom line is people buy people. And if you're a nice person, a confident person, know what you're talking about, then you're halfway there. And then you just have to have a good product or service that you're selling. So with me, I came across the right way. I got results, and that was that. And people always think there's some secret formula. But again, you have to put yourself out there. I was turning up meeting multi-millionaires, and it's you can't be nervous, or you know what I mean. This is business, and it's a dark world. And if you can't take the shit, then what is it? If you can't handle the heat, then don't go in the kitchen or something. And that's what it is. So with getting clients and that, people are just chasing money. Oh, how do I get clients? How do you get clients? When their business is built on sand, really, and it's just waiting for it to collapse.
Definitely. So, like, when we talk about social media management, what do you actually mean by that? Is that just like posting content on these businesses' Instagram pages, Facebook pages, that sort of stuff? What does social media management actually entail? Because I think, a lot of people now overlook social media management because there was a lot of focus on the paid ads spectrum. So people running ads, as you know, and I think that sort of got overlooked a little bit. So, like, what is social media management?
Social media management is essentially in the name, managing businesses, people, social medias, helping them decide what to post, looking at trends, kind of just advising them what to post, really. And you got to think you're a big business owner. You're not going to want to sit there and scroll Instagram and hit post and write captions. It's quite a simple process. And listen, it's that's the thing. It doesn't even get me excited talking about it. It's one of them things where
it's boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's boring. Like, is that what you want to do? And obviously, there's some people out there, but it's because you watch videos on social media and you think, oh, he's doing all right, so I'm going to copy it. When they don't even know what they're going on about, and they don't even know if that's what they want to do, and it's probably not. It's because it's what people see as one of the quick ways of making money. When that's a load of bullshit. It stresses me out because people are just chasing the quick thing, and they're like diverting, and they just end up thinking, I've tried 10 things, I've given it 2 weeks on each one, and I've not got anywhere, so I'm going to give up and go back to the 9 to 5 and the party life because it doesn't exist. Stop watching videos of people saying they've made it when they haven't. Listen to people that are going to tell you how it really is and what it really is like. Give it a good go, 6 months to 3 years. If you fail, do something else. Instead of like crying about it after 2 weeks, it's a long journey and you have to pick one thing and stick to it.
Well, what do you think about the agency space as a whole then?
I won't say it's oversaturated because there's businesses starting every week and people are always looking forward to it. People are always joining social media and it's going to be there. But you're competing with Iman Gadzhi and you're competing with agencies that have been open for years and years.
Yeah.
And you just want to land a client for $3,000 a month and sit back and relax. It don't work like that. And when shit hits the fan and you're a 17-year-old and you just done it because you thought, oh, it's going to make me a few quid, you're going to crumble.
Yes, definitely. And like, obviously, as a whole, I've gotten from you that you're someone who puts themselves out into uncomfortable situations. And when I mean uncomfortable, I mean, like we were talking before a podcast, before we were running, and you were saying that you're well connected. You've got a lot of connections, and the people you're mentioning are people who are popping off right now. How do you put yourself in those positions, in a sense? What did you do to put yourself in front of people like Jordan Welsh, Iman Gadzhi, all those people? How did you do it?
So at the end of the day, you've got to look at these as normal people, but they are. They're like me and you. They started, a lot of them start from nothing, and they work hard, they get something on the right time, they stick to it, and they end up becoming successful. But at the end of the day, we all I was going to say we all shit out the same hole, which is true. And we're just people at the end of the day. We've all got feelings and we all have a purpose. And that's just essentially, they're just normal, nice people that have got achieved something. So you can't look at them, when you look at them through a screen, you think, oh my days, these are like, they don't exist. They're untouchable. I'll never get near them.
Like God.
And it's like, but you have to offer someone value, and then when they're bigger than you, it seems hard. But they're always going to have cracks, and they're always going to have things that they're like, whether it's just checking their emails every day, and they're thinking, 20 minutes out of my day, I don't want to do this, but I'm there, like, I'll be there like, every day, like, let me do your emails. And they're thinking, fuck hell, let's do my email. You do a good job, they see you're a nice person, and then you build a relationship. And And that's what essentially it is. You can't say, hi, Iman. How can I help you? He's going to think, you don't want to think about what you need help with. You need to analyze it, spend 6 months seeing how you can help him, and then offer it to him. And even then he might not see it. But then go to someone that he's friends with and say, look, is there any chance you could say to Iman that I'd love to help him with that? And maybe that's the approach you take.
Yeah.
But it's hard. And with Stephan, I think I sent him a Cameo message. I had to pay for it. Asked him if I could make a video with him. He said he's really busy. Ended up being a nice guy. I kept asking him if I could do work. He gave me Jack, his assistant's contact number, Instagram. Jack gave me a few emails to do and stuff like that. 3 months later, I'm in Las Vegas with Stephan. It sounds, you just have to know what you're offering. Do you just want a message back from them? Because if you do, do you know what I mean? These are very, very, very busy people. And if you just want to go, hey, man, I love your videos. It's a lovely message, but he gets 500 of them a day.
Definitely. So when you're talking about Graham Stephan, you went to Las Vegas with him. Talk to me a bit about that experience. How did you go to Las Vegas with Graham Stephan?
Yeah, so it's about this time last year. And to be honest, I've still not reflected on it. It's
surreal.
A real moment. Like,
yeah.
I've always grew up watching football and looking at like the top footballers is like who you aspire to be. And then in this new world I'm in, that's who I aspire to be. 3 months into my journey, I'm in Las Vegas with Graham Stephan around his house, meeting Andre Gick, Jeremy Financial Education, Graham Stephan chilling in the podcast. They're doing the podcast and I'm the one changing the cameras. And I'm like looking there like, what, how have I got here? But listen, it's a surreal moment. It literally happened like this. So Graham Stephan called me and we got on all right. And then on the Saturday, he said, do you want to fly out Monday? So on Saturday evening, do you want to fly out Monday? Monday evening, I'm on Graham Stephan's podcast in person, the Iced Coffee Hour, doing an episode. That's just how fast it is. But what I'm saying about making fast decisions, short period of time, could change your life. I've never been on a plane more than 3 hours.
Yeah.
In a day's time, I'm on a 10-hour flight to Las Vegas, me and my dad. And then I get picked up by Alex and I'm around Graham Stephan's house and 24 hours, no sleep, straight on the podcast. And it's
when you say straight on a podcast, were you helping them set up all the production?
I was a guest on it. So the episode's called We Need to Talk. Yeah, it's called We Need to Talk. Got about 80,000 views and I come in about halfway through and ended up going on the podcast and you'll see me on it and I'm stuttering. I'm like, I get so nervous, but because that's something, it has like 300,000 subscribers at the time and I'm there like 400 subscribers, still nervous on camera 3 months into doing YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But like, if I was where I'm at now and what I know now and my current, if I went to Graham Stephan now, I would just explode. And that isn't being cocky, it's because I know what to do. At the time, 400 subscribers, wasn't making good videos, didn't have the right equipment, didn't understand it, didn't know how to edit. And then, with Graham Stephan, and I just didn't take advantage of it. I've got a few videos of him on my channel. It's my pinned one. And it was an incredible experience. What Graham Stephan did for me is incredible. And that just shows what an incredible person he is.
Definitely.
But it's a surreal experience. And again, I've still not really looked back over it.
When you say you could have done something like if you were in that position now and he said, look, fly over to Las Vegas, let's get you on an episode on that particular show, and you would have gone like that, you would have trended right upwards, Like, what would you have done differently then, looking back at it now?
Again, that's a very, very, very hard question. And I know I'm saying I know what to do in that, but at the time, I was 17. I not very confident, not in the right mindset. I'm not the best at what I'm essentially doing YouTube. So, and then you look at me now, I'm still not the best at any of it. I'm a long way from where I was
way further than where you were.
Yeah. So already I'd go on the podcast and I'd be confident and I wouldn't be nervous and I'd say some good things and I'd take clips and I'd film better videos with Graham. I didn't even plan a video. I just planned it. I just hit camera and record. And it's not a regret because everyone would love to be in that situation. But spending a week and shadowing him and watching everything he did without probably realizing it's probably done so much for me.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What was Iman Gadzhi like in person?
Oh, one of the nicest people I've ever met. Like, the guy is so busy, so much attention on him all the time. And I remember walking around the corner. This is where, like, kind of fake. So I made a video about him about 2 months before. I got 30,000 views. He shared it, messaged me, told me I was on track to pop off. And at that time, I'm like, wow. Anyway, ended up bumping into him in London. I live 2 hours away. I went down, didn't know he was even in the country. Walked around the corner. Who stood there? Iman Gadzhi. And oh my days. And I walked up to him. I went, hi, Iman. I went, I don't know if you recognize me. And before I finished my sentence, it was like, yeah, I know you are, Harvey. And then gave me a hug. When I say I felt like a boss, I felt like a proper boss. Like, Iman Gadzhi's like, knows who I am, hugging me. And everyone's then looking at me like I'm someone special. Yeah. I ended up chatting to him for 10 minutes. And what an incredible guy, giving me advice and ends up voice noting me that night. And yeah, it's wow. That's all I can say. It's still, again, I don't really look back on them moments.
Do you still keep in contact with him today?
Listen, he's busy as anything, isn't he? So again, until I'm on a level where it's worth him spending time with me.
Yeah,
that's not against him as a person who he is. He's an incredible person. So kind, but why it doesn't benefit his life spending time with me. Whereas when I'm on a level, he even messaged me. He said, when the time's right, we'll meet and spend a bit of time together. And that's all you need to go off. If I kept messaging him every day, like, how's your day going? Like, we're best mates. That's not how it works.
Definitely. And like, I want to tie it back now to business. So I obviously know that, like, we've had a great conversation about you meeting all these people, which is just incredible. And it's actually insane to think that you are connected as well as you are. And it's just incredible, to be honest. But prior to when we went on this discussion, you were saying about, it was almost like learning when to quit. So what would you say is that, how powerful would you say the ability to quit something is? Because let me if I'd say this as well, like, if you've got a business, and you're running it and you're like, it's not growing, you don't really see any potential in it. A lot of people will tell you, stay on it, because you don't know when that chance comes where you just explode. But then in some situations, the smart thing is to just completely drop it and move on to the next thing. So how powerful is quitting?
Yeah, I maybe wouldn't use the word quit just because of the psychology thing. So I never believe in quitting. I don't think you should ever quit. But what you could maybe see it as is a lesson. So when do you just take the lesson and move on, shall we say? Because quitting to me is when there's something there or you're onto something and then you leave.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
what quitting is to me. Listen, I could say I wanted to be a professional Olympic swimmer. And listen, I generally do believe that if you put your mind to something and spend every second of every day, you could become what you want. If I started saying now I want to be an Olympic swimmer, I know in my mind in 5 years I'll be in the Olympics. Facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not being cocky. I just know I can do it.
Yeah.
Everyone can achieve so much. It's so crazy
the
confinement your mind is generally in. And that's essentially what it comes down to. But going back to your original question, there's so much power in a lesson and failing. And I always say to my mates that are on something good, that are just constantly winning. I'm like, I can't wait for you to fail it in the nicest way possible, because then you're going to see how bad you want it. Then you're going to see if you're made for it. Then you're going to see, then it's going to take you to the next level.
Yeah.
It's going to, that's the bottom line of moving on. And listen, if you can generally, hand on heart, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I gave that a good go, it is not working, move on.
Move on, yeah, definitely.
But if there's if you, like for me, YouTube, yeah, I know how hard it's going to be to be put in the same category as Graham, Stephan, Jordan, and Ian. I know that is going to be like becoming a Premier League footballer. People will try every single day and fail, but they quit because they can get there. And I know I can get there. And it's just time. If it takes me 10 years, it takes me 10 years. And I know full well that I will outlast all of them.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, because I can see the options there's no ceiling to it. I can do it. The time period that it takes, I can do it. So, but if I started a business and I wasn't making sales, I kept losing money, and there was no way to get it to go anywhere, that's when you move on and you take lessons from it.
Yeah.
But
100%.
To go back to the question, I think never quit, but know when the right time is to move on. But only you can make that decision.
Yeah, makes complete sense. So, like, I'm looking into the future, though, like, you like to live in the present, which is, I think, the best way to look at it. I do think a plan is sometimes quite useful because it keeps direction and it gives you that purpose. So if I say to you now, Harvey, where would you like to be in the next 5 years? What would you say to that?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So I think living in the moment in terms of day-to-day life, the feelings and all them things is, you can't plan for that. Things you can't control, there's no point having a plan for. So that's when I'm saying live in the moment. When you look at business, you've got to be 10 steps ahead every step of the way, because someone's 3 steps ahead of you. So with business, always plan ahead. But in terms of day-to-day life, think just in the moment. 5 years time, again, I could sit here and say I want 10 million subscribers. I want to have retired my parents and I want to drive a Lamborghini with a successful business, which probably is what I want. But at the same time, I can't control any of that. If you could ask me 5 years time, I hope that I've not missed an upload and I'll keep trying things and that's it.
Yeah, facts. And like a last question to round the podcast off, Harvey, is like just three solid bits of advice things that you've learned whilst on this journey, that you could tell, your 15-year-old self or someone out there, a young person who's trying to make something happen, like 3 bits of advice that would really help them grow.
It's hard to ask someone for advice that's still learning, I think.
Just if someone's saying to me, look, let's say we have like a 15-year-old who says, I'd like to be like Harvey Heggs when I'm 19 years old.
Yeah.
And if I frame it to you like that, how would you give advice to that person?
I would say, know you're going to go through shit. And it's going to be so hard. And you're going to think that it's the end of the world in that moment when it's not. You're going to get through it. It's just because when you're in the moment, it feels like there's no way out. When there is, and you're stronger than you think. Try things all the time. Give it 100%. Know you're giving it 100%. And last thing, just don't quit on your goal that you've set.
Perfect. No. They're 3 solid bits of advice there. And yeah, I think that's a great place to end the podcast off, Harvey. I think it's been a great episode. I've learned a lot personally, and it's also great to be in front of someone who's my age and thinks like me, because I think it's quite difficult to find people who align with you when you're young and when you're in that building phase. So yeah, really appreciate the time, Harvey. And, if there's any last words that you'd like to say to the viewers, anything you'd like to drop before we round it off completely.
Just pick a goal. Have a deeper meaning than money. So why, for me, I want to retire my parents, make sure everyone around me never has to worry about money again. And that means I'll take on the shit of the problems that come day to day with that. But seeing them happy and them enjoying their life because of me, that's gonna cover up for all the shit. So have a goal that's deeper than the money, and trust me, that will keep you going more than chasing the 7 digits or the 8 digits or whatever it is.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And, if you want to learn more about this sort of stuff and things that Harvey's talked about, I'll put his link to his YouTube channel down below. Great content on there. I think like everyone should be watching it. Content that's just completely valuable and really does tell you how to go from A to B with the action steps.
Honestly, bro, if you're looking to learn a lot, then I would say there's better people than me. There is, and that's what you'll get with me is I keep it real. But what you will get with me is I'll keep it real all the time. You can join the journey. Yeah, you can join the journey with me, and we'll go on a journey together. Have a laugh, and see what happens. But people will pull the wool over your eyes, I think the saying is, and talk all this fantasy bullshit to you, and you just get lost, and then you'll end up quitting because you're in fairy tale land. Whereas I'll just keep it real.
Yeah, keeping it real, definitely. So link to Harvey's YouTube channel down below in the description. Make sure you click on that. Give him all the support. Subscribe, like his videos, turn the bell notification on when he posts an episode, and Instagram as well. Harvey's got some great pieces on there. Make sure to follow that.
Don't worry about me. Everyone go follow this podcast, because 19 years old, chatting to people, putting yourself out there is incredible. So if you're gonna use your follow on someone, use it on this podcast. Don't worry about me.
Cheers, man.
Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Just keep doing what you do.
Cheers, boss. I mean, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, mate. And to all the viewers out there, subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you very much.